Good afternoon all. Nice to be in Dublin and good afternoon to the virtual audiences. Right, today's presentation is all about successful delivery. I might not read this word to word because I've got quite a lot to get through and we've got limited time, but to date, vast experiences have been obtained really from collaboration. Collaboration is key. Not everyone is at the same level and you need to help others get to that level. So that's definitely key. Everyone nowadays needs to work more intelligently. We haven't got an endless pool of resource and it is key to actually delivering on time and achieving targets. This presentation will give you some insights to the way we work. But it's kind of shaped from lessons learned and future tech, and also it will help strengthen deliveries. One extreme valuable investment not to be overshadowed requires the upskilling resource at every level. In return, you should get a smoother engagement from the uptake. I strongly recommend that this is applied to all contracts. A little line in the contract offering training is mandatory, and that's to tier 2, 3 and wider, because so many people just gloss over it, and I heard it in discussions earlier, tier 3 come and go and you've been left with a problem. So again, I can only strongly recommend that this is a clause in the contract and it will help you all going forwards. So again, from that we recognise there's different learning curves, pushback and even total rejection. So to overcome that within Mott, we ask discipline leads to submit a technology plan for review, because different teams have different software skills and every job's different. So these valuable insights provide a clear understanding of approach, allowing dialogue prior to configuration and implementation. Everyone wants to do what they did on the last project because it was easy, but every client has something different, so you need to review them standards. So by introducing standardisation, bespoke and tailored dashboards are created where performance data provides clear metrics to support much quicker outcomes. So again, we've learned as jobs get bigger and bigger, these are key items. So another one, again, I've heard it a few times today, LOD, components and setting the standard. So there's nothing new here, but currently industrial guidelines vary from one organisation to another, a minefield. And by setting these early, you've got buy-in from every discipline. Hopefully, from the contractor down to the manufacturer. Everyone knows exactly where they are, and there's no surprises, because what you don't want to do is introduce change halfway through a project. It causes pain, and then you've got inconsistency. So again, nothing new, but by setting these early as possible, it helps build standardisation and measure the project's outcome. So from standardisation and the use of a component catalogue, we've used a model-based approach, so removing drawings. It's endless, especially at scheme design, to produce drawings for no reason at all. So we promote model-based approach, and by working digitally, that helps. So the data is driven, improves efficiency, and the outcome reduces assurance processes, because you haven't got a model, you haven't got to cut sections, you just review the models and take it forward from there. So from that, it helps promote the first-time culture. From these models, because we've structured them and everyone's agreed what goes in the component catalogue, we could harvest all this data. It can come out of the common data environment. The good thing about this, because it is structured, you can achieve and pull out all the information for graphical and non-graphical data, which is powerful. The output is presented in these dashboards, and then we can tailor them for individual discipline functions or client functions with live updates. So along the bottom there, at the moment, a project I'm working on is ginormous. It's about 90 kilometres in plan. It's a very large railway project without naming it. And we have teams all over the world, and there's people coming on board at various times. So what we've got in place now is, because of the structured data, we can pull out all these metrics, and we can work out what teams are delivering, if there's anyone missing information, how good the quality. So if we see it dip, we can then look at the actual figures to understand, is it a localised team, is it a wider issue, or again, it can be little as 2 people haven't been onboarded properly. So it gives you these metrics, for a job this size, we've got thousands of staff, so it's just beneficial. So again, from the metrics and standardisation, we can pull out nearly everything you need. So the first one on the left there is data completeness. Again, we had that dashboard that gave you an overview of the disciplines. We can then go into it at model level, down to asset level, and even further. And again, you've got all these metrics. Sometimes you might see red, but the reason is that's been delayed because there's some old survey, or you're waiting instruction to be improved. So you shouldn't always jump at the first problem. It's red, I need to do something about this. There's normally a reason, and you get to understand that. But you've got this at your fingertips, where before it would take you hours and hours to find this out. Same with quantities. This one on the right, it gives us a good idea of where we are and helps us measure and also provide to third parties. Below, that's to do with RFIs and early warnings. Again, you can get to see what's been answered, what hasn't been answered, what you need to chase. Job's so big, you need to actually understand where you are, because it's hard to manage. You need a small army. And the final one as well is about deliverables, where you can see what's gone out, what's not gone out, and it gives you trends and stuff like that. So it's very powerful. It updates hourly or weekly or daily, however you want it. It will vary from dashboard to dashboard. So moving on from where we are, and because we get them standardisation, what we've created is we've got standardisation is applied. We host it in a native component catalogue, which is an intelligent content portal, which is Moata. That's an internal tool within Mott. This allows teams across the company to have access to bespoke digital component catalogues. We also give access to JV partners as well, so it's not just locked down for us. These libraries serviced from a wealth of parametric and static common design elements. And this qualifies teams to become more efficient with major time savings. We've reinvented the wheel. We don't want to do that anymore. Same as a pile cap and many other things. We're just starting to build this now. It's for various projects. We can add security to it as well if it's a government project. But also it just benefits the wider business, because why keep it to yourself? It doesn't make sense. So the more you do, the more you can be more competitive, and no need to reinvent the wheel. So again, from this standardisation and using Moata, we get these dashboards. And from the last 2 years, from all this standardisation reuse, we can track the benefits. Clients love this. They absolutely love it. They can see, it's been used so many times. We add a value to it, and some items are probably priced slightly different to others. And as you can see, slow uptake, standard. And as we've gone on, and the benefits are seen by everyone, the usage has gone up. And over the last 2 years, it's probably even more now, but we're close to nearly £3 million in time savings. Who doesn't love that? And we can only get that better and bigger as we go on. Again, reuse now, there's bigger phases of the project, so we'll have bigger benefits in the long term. So again, we haven't got endless amounts of resource. There's so many things going on out there, we need to be working more intelligently. So a bugbearer for me is receiving information on the day it's supposed to be transmitted, and there's loads of problems. I don't want to see that, because that creates delay for everyone. So from that, we decided to catch and nip it in the bud a lot earlier. We've got a thing called a data check. So technology has allowed us to get there, We've got standardization that allows us to measure very easily. And then we apply this data check at any level. So it can be done at work in progress, it can be done at team shared. Engineers, checkers or approvers can do it. And it gives you some understanding of if the information is complete. A bit like the dashboards, but that's when it's been published. This is allowing it to happen a lot earlier. So we've got it created for various software, so OBD, ORD. Any Autodesk products at the moment are not catered for in this project. So very quickly it will run a spreadsheet for them. It will give them all this type of information. We have an overall summary, an AD4 report, if there's any missing data. So again, anything that's in the catalogue and not being provided, it will pull that up. Again, inconsistencies, questionable values, because there might be corruption. Again, you won't know that until it's published. Construction elements, again, in case someone's drawn something on the wrong level. Asset information and so on. So again, it just gives you such a wealth of information at a click of a button. If I was to check that, it would take me probably 3 hours per model. I haven't got the time. Plus we've got a deadline that won't allow it. So this is such a benefit. So again, continue along the same thing, reuse of standardization. A bugbearer for me is save as. I hate that term. It should be removed from all software, and everything should be not fresh but reused or automated, basically. So CDM, a really big thing. What we've done is we get the engineers to add the risks into a database. It's called Safety Base. In that system, it's got an XYZ, and the risks are rated. If they're low risk, they probably are not modelled, populated. If they're big risks, then these are the ones that will make it into the model. So basically, each asset has got their own risks. The tools there allow it to pull this information out for each asset. And in return, it saves you a lot of time. There's no manual editing or handling of additional spreadsheets or vice versa. So from that, each asset, we get an output. The output is normally Excel, and then we run it through a macro. These macros will populate models with the CDM symbols, so there's no manual handling. And then we know it's consistent because the two are linked. And similar with she boxes. I've seen it already on many other projects where someone's done a save as or a copy and paste, and it's the same problem, same she box on about 5 drawings. That's a problem. Or someone's had fat fingers or some misspellings. So again, along the same process, each asset has got its own she box. It's run, populated, and individually placed in each file. So you know they're linked and they're correct, and the information you provide is 100%. So as we moved, and because I love digitally working and also drawings, I still think they're a thing of the past. We need to encourage more to not use them. But from this, we can provide digital setting out. More and more people are using digital setting out going forwards. We just need to help influence, and some software stands today will help people get to that answer as well by access and visibility of these models. I think it dramatically reduces error, the waste, and helps reinforce our model-only approach. So again, we can provide this setting out very easily. There's just a few examples there. What we do is provide it as an Excel as well, so it allows machine control and use by third parties. But again, you can agree this in your component catalogue right up front on how this is done. Similar to chainage, spectres, we can apply a lot of these tools because we've worked to structured data. So the last thing I'd like to pinnacle, and we've seen really good success on this, is progressive insurance. So these are formed by a series of workshops held with all project partners to review assets much earlier in the program. What we want to do is not hide our models away until a drawing is developed. We want them to review the models a lot earlier. So by bringing them in and getting them to view these models in our systems, they have a lot better understanding. And you haven't had to publish stuff, you haven't had to transmit stuff. It's all in one place. And it's correct. It's there, it is, it's live, and there's no surprises. So from regular sharing of data prefixed with suitability codes, the maturity of the information is understood who's reviewing it. Often you might have some parts of an asset at lower suitability status because it's a utility that spans over a bigger area, but you are just assuring this one piece at a time. And it helps with construction and so on. So stage assurance is reviews improve engagement, and it's proven. Awareness of development by each submission just helps everyone get that understanding, no surprises. Any outstanding items or actions are clearly documented, and this just enhances closeout and any unexpected surprises. And these are the processes we go through because people want to build things a lot quicker and faster. You know, why wait till the asset's complete when you could get the pile caps out first? So a pile cap we class as DD1. Then you'll be looking at maybe the piers and abutments, so we might class that as a DD2. So you're assuring these things in isolation, but you're still looking at it as a bigger package. And then finally, you have the IDR3, which might be a bridge deck. Sometimes you might have just everything as one, because that's the way the asset's got. But also this progressive assurance just helps you get to the end point, especially if you've got very tight programs. We've seen the benefit going forwards, and we will continue to try and push this process. I think that's my last slide. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.